is going to be law, House Bill 99. It changes the standard optional veterans tax credit, RSA 7228. In the past, you've been able to, if you've been total and permanently disabled, you could get both that credit and this credit. And this law now changes it so that you can't get both. That means that anybody that we have, and how many do we have?
122.
122 individuals receiving the total and permanent and the optional credit. And for 2025, the optional credit's going to be removed because that's the lower one.
How much money does that mean?
$750 credit?
No, yeah, but how many times 125?
Right. I know that some have suggested that if you still want the total and permanent to receive the gross amount that they're getting now, that the governing body could change that credit to be higher. The issue there is that then those that only qualify for that one today will get a higher benefit. I don't know how many of those there are.
So there's a total of 160, but 122 of them get both. So again.
So there'd be 38 that would get a higher benefit that don't qualify for it today.
Right.
So that's something we'll have to deal with
yeah,
alderman and the
the
mayor.
alderman, yeah. But just to make you guys aware of the law that passed.
Yeah, it's not a local option. It's, once this takes effect, we need to remove that second credit from those 122 individuals.
But it could be remedied on the city level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Has a notice gone out to those people?
So,
This was just
no,
signed.
it was just signed, and I have a memo getting ready to go to the Board of Aldermen to find out what they would like to do, rather than worry
Right.
taxpayers unnecessarily ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it takes effect for
The-
26,
the-
actually.
for the summer bill of 2026. So as long as we get a notice out to them beforehand about what the city actually chooses to do, with enough time.
Okay.
$93,000. Could cause a big backlash.
I think it'll cause a bigger backlash with those losing the benefit than it will for the budget as far as keeping it.
Okay, anything else?
That we are looking to hire. We are ready to make an offer to an additional admin person for the staff for the assessing office. We're waiting on that from HR.
Okay. All right, thank you. Next item is old business. I see none. New business items, 2025 exemptions and credits for approval and denial.
So we can start with solar. You have a list in front of you that we are recommending for approval.
Any questions?
I have none.
Excuse me, can I get a motion to approve the exemptions, the solar exemptions for the list as presented?
So moved.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
Next, we have the all veterans credit recommended for approval, and the veterans credit recommended for approval.
Any questions? No, nor do I. Can I get a motion to approve the all veterans credits and also the veterans credits from the list as presented?
Oh, one question. Michelle, what's the difference, or Jessica, what's the difference between the two? All veterans versus just veterans?
I got to address that. So the what they call the standard and optional veterans credit, which is RSA 7228, has certain qualifying periods, 90 days within certain federally designated qualifying periods, usually time of war. And any veteran that has 90 days that aren't within those periods used to not qualify for credit. Now there's an all veterans credit where someone who served, and it's local option and the city has adopted it, where a veteran that served in those conflict times can qualify as long as they have 90 days of active service. That's the difference between the two.
Okay, so we had that one taxpayer, I think last time, that had, he never had that 90 days. Is that what we're talking about here?
No, you still need 90 days.
Okay.
And it has to be active duty. It can't be reserve, can't be,
Right.
New Hampshire Guard.
Right,
So,
okay, thank you.
but typically, these are individuals that served the brief period between Korea and Vietnam.
Okay,
There's not too many left that served between World War II and Korea that would qualify for this, but there's quite a few that were between Korea and Vietnam, and then the War on Terror, which began in 1990.
1990, yeah.
So between May of 75 and, was it August of 90?
I believe.
Somewhere in
yeah.
1990. That was that roughly 15-year period where anybody that served 90 days in that time frame didn't qualify for the regular or optional credit. But now there's the all veterans credit, local option. This city has adopted it. Not every jurisdiction has, but this city has.
okay.
And it's the same benefit. Now, interestingly, that all veterans credit, that was written so that you couldn't receive that and the total and permanent. That's the 38 individuals that aren't getting both. So
that's the other difference. The one where you did qualify in the 90 days, you could stack that with the disabled,
Right.
and you couldn't if you were getting the
The all,
Beams.
right.
So that was a big difference
Interesting.
between the two, which goes away next year.
Yes.
right.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the all veterans credits and the veterans credits from the list as presented?
So moved.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
Next, we have charitable exemptions recommended for approval.
Any questions?
No questions.
Hmm? No? Can I get a motion to approve the charitable exemptions for approval from the list as presented?
So moved.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
So following that, we have charitable exemptions recommended for denial and charitable exemptions recommended for removal.
Any questions?
We're talking about the late charitable?
I'm sorry?
We're on late charitable?
No, down at the bottom of the page, exemptions recommended for denial and then exemptions recommended for removal.
Oh,
I think we forgot to put a page break in there.
Yes, sorry, that is on me. I'll know for next time.
Was the exemption for removal, was that applied for, or is that just an old one that we wanted to get off the books?
So the 14 Granite Street, it's sold to a non-exempt entity, so it would be an automatic removal. The one for 11 North Southwood Drive, they submitted a late application and chose not to submit a letter for consideration.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion to deny or remove the charitable exemptions from the list as presented?
So moved.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
So the next one is letters for consideration for the late charitable applications. So you guys would have to either move to accept or deny each late application, and then whether you wanted to approve or deny each charitable exemption of the late application, should you accept it.
And if I could, in order to accept it late, you would have to recognize that it was late due to accident, mistake, misfortune. I forgot, doesn't qualify for that,
Yeah.
okay? And I think we have at least one of these that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why you need to look at these individually.
Okay, but this gentleman on, or this entity on North Southwood, this guy was totally honest with us and had to deny him. right?
But they,
He didn't choose to bring us a letter at all. He just said
Because he knew that he
he,
didn't want to lie, so.
Right.
Okay, so what are the letters for these people?
so these are the letters that they provided for your consideration, whether you want to accept the late application or not.
so we could go through these one at a time?
Yeah.
So should we go one by one?
Yeah.
So the first one is a forget, I believe. Forgot.
Conjuring Arts would be the first one.
Yeah,
Conjuring Arts.
and you should have the letters in your packet.
Yeah.
So this,
Do you have this one here?
this applicant states
Yeah.
that it's, I have no excuse except my faulty memory and human error. That's not accident, mistake, misfortune.
That's, sorry, it's what?
That does not meet the criteria of accident, mistake,
Right.
misfortune. So if you're asking
All right,
for
so let's mark them.
my input, I would say this one should be denied. But it is up to the board.
My position is that when you have this gentleman over here on Southwood that was open and honest and said, I'm not going to write a letter that cries foul, and we denied him, rightfully so, and everyone, but these people write letters saying basically the same thing that this guy could have said?
We don't know what he,
This one person said that so far.
Yeah, just
Oh, I've already
the,
flipped through all the other answers.
Okay,
I've
yeah.
already flipped through all the other letters. They're all pretty much the same thing, and I think, the law is the law, and it, like you said, mistake, misfortune, they're all claiming that, their staff screwed up.
Well, so if I could, again?
Yeah.
In a case where I think one of these, the entire staff retired, that organization could claim that's accident, mistake, misfortune. That might be something you would consider. Now, again, you could say that's not an adequate response or an adequate
Bob,
reason.
retirement doesn't happen in a day.
Right.
They had 20 years to see this coming,
Yeah.
so.
so let's look at, the first one we're going to deny, 55 Lake Street. That's, she said she forgot.
Yeah.
So St. Joseph's Hospital, retirements.
Family promise, you gotta look at family promise
I'm
next.
sorry?
Family promise is the next one.
They're in different order, I guess.
Oh, I'm just going by this order.
Conjuring
Right,
Arts.
but the letters,
And Family Promise.
okay.
This one, family promise.
And family
Oh,
promise
This list
doesn't
is different than.
provide a reason for it being late at all. Did that not get in your package,
No, he's got
Mr.
it.
I got it. Okay, so there's no excuse there. So that's denied. St. Joseph's, I think we should approve.
Yeah, so this would be the one where, due to retirements,
Yeah,
and again, it's, I look at it as, it's the organization that claims whether it's accident, mistake, misfortune, and I would say this falls in that category. Up to the board. This is a big one. You can imagine that this is going to be a $60 million
$60 million,
value that we tax. And then, are they going to pay that bill, or are they going to appeal? I've seen in the past where if something goes to the Board of Tax and Land Appeals, their take on this would be, they don't have jurisdiction unless there was a timely filed application. So they're not likely to even open a docket on this one. What would happen on a Superior Court side, I can't say. I don't know of any precedent that I could speak to, but I would say that this is significant enough that it's not likely to go to the Board of Tax and Land Appeals. Probably going to go to court.
Do you think this would go to court? Yeah. And we would win?
If it goes to the BTLA, I think we win. If it goes to Superior Court, I have no idea.
Oh, yeah, you and I are going to disagree on this one. Do you want to table it for when Jay's here?
Yeah, we have
Makes sense if you
until,
have split.
Yeah.
we have
And
until
didn't-
September to,
And they had a longer period of time to file these this year, right?
No.
no,
Okay.
no, there is
Oh,
a,
that was the abatements,
Yeah,
not the
yeah, that's true.
exemption.
and actually, we
Yeah.
turns out we shouldn't have extended that, but that's another story. There is the financials have a later deadline. It's by June 1st, but that application deadline for the A9, for the actual exemption, is April 15th.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to table this one because I'm going to vote no.
Okay.
Okay, so we can do three? First three, but not the fourth one?
You didn't talk about the last one yet.
Yeah, we still have more to go.
There's
Which
one
one
from
we-
Greater
Great-
National.
Greater National Mental Health.
So this one, it appears that they had their accounting department had, their accounting department would have been responsible for filing these forms, and they had an issue with converting, looks like converting software that caused them some real grief for a rather extended period of time. This is not a, I forgot. This is something that may be considered accident, mistake, misfortune, but that's for you to interpret. Another one you may want to table.
Wait, you haven't heard what he's going to say yet. You've already decided that we're going to split vote this one?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So let's go down the list then. For Conjuring Arts, I would make a motion that we deny the charitable
So first,
exemption.
you're gonna move on whether to accept the late application or not, is the motion we need first.
Okay. Okay, so can I get a motion to deny accepting the late charitable application from the Conjuring Arts Research Center?
So moved.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Next one is Family Promise and the Catholic Bishop. Can I get a motion to deny the late charitable exemption application for 6 Harvard Street as presented?
So moved.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The next one, can I get a motion to accept the late charitable application for St. Joseph's Hospital as presented?
You
No.
can motion and second and then vote separately, and
Okay.
then table, I guess.
I
Just
thought-
to be on
Or-
the record.
Or you can just
Motion to table.
motion to table that one.
Yeah, I don't even want to bring it to the table, because then it's been, moved on, so let's just
Yep.
keep it tabled, so. And you said they still have time to, for
Yeah.
this to go through the board?
Yes, yeah.
All right, so I'm
Yeah.
not going to,
Yeah,
All
this
right.
wasn't removed for the first bill, so we need a decision by the final bill, so we have
so
a
you
few
have
months.
to table it.
All right, can I get a motion to table the charitable application for St. Joseph's Hospital and Community Council of Nashua?
So moved.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
Now, this next one is hanging out there, because we don't know how you're going to vote on it.
Well, he just
We added that.
added it to that motion.
He just
He snuck
added
it
it
in.
to the motion.
Did you?
He said just St. Joseph's Hospital and Community Council of New Hampshire.
Yeah.
So
We've
you
done them
already,
all, right?
we're already moved on.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess we'll never know.
I guess we'll never- till the next time.
Yes.
Jess, do they now need to?
So now you need to, no.
No.
Because they didn't accept any of
They
them.
didn't accept it, so,
They take,
Yeah.
They
Okay,
denied, and then tabled.
okay.
So there's no action, further action.
I'm going to have to listen to you.
Well, you'll be chair next month anyway. Okay.
So exciting.
Anything else, Jessica?
The next stuff is abatements. 2025
Oh, right,
abatements for
okay, I'm sorry.
approval and denial.
All right, so the abatement for the property at 42 Silverton Drive.
Yeah, this was a data correction, square footage correction, and I believe,
2 bedrooms to 1 bedroom.
yep. We already had that. I don't know why he put that on there, but.
All right, can I get any questions?
No questions.
Can I get a motion to approve the abatement for the property located at 42 Silverton Drive, Unit U82?
So moved.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Next one, Jessica?
This was also a data correction. This occurred after we were locked out for the December billing, so the inspection had already taken place, but they were billed, and the data corrections were made, which reduced the value. So they applied for the abatement to get the 2024 assessment lowered to what it is already moving forward.
Any questions?
No questions?
Can I get a motion to approve the abatement for the property located at 6 Terrace Street for 2025, I guess it is? Yeah.
So moved.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Next one, Jessica?
The next one is a denial based on late filing. So the normal hard deadline is March 1st of every year. We actually extended it this year, perhaps incorrectly.
Incorrectly.
But the bills went out a little late, so we interpreted that as, gave them extra time to file, when actually we didn't need to have done that, but.
Yeah, it's the mail date that's the key and not the due date, and we had that reversed. So, as long as it's mailed by December 31st, the deadline is supposed to be March 1st.
So
We're not
it's like-
going to turn around and deny anybody who filed between March 1st and 17th because we told them the deadline had been extended. But
Okay.
this was even beyond that. This was in
This
May
was
that it was
May
filed.
6th.
Any questions?
No questions.
Can I get a motion to deny the abatement request for the property located at 35 Indian Rock Road?
So moved.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Last one, Jessica?
This is a recommendation to denial. Essentially, they didn't withdraw, but they had received an abatement in 2022 and were confused why the value changed. They were expecting it to stay, so I had a phone call and explained that when you do a revaluation, all abatements are wiped out. We start over. I asked if they would like, we went over the card on the phone. It sounded like most things were accurate. I asked if they wanted an inspection to confirm in case there was anything that would lower the value, and they did not. So they knew it would be a recommendation for denial, and submitted an email confirming their understanding of that.
Any questions?
No questions.
Can I get a motion to deny the abatement request for the property located at 25 Taschereau Boulevard?
So moved.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, nay. The ayes have it. That's it?
That's it.
The next item on the agenda is public comment. I think there were a couple of people that... Could you state your name and address, please?
Yes, my name is Bill Ferrio. My home is number 35 Indian Rock Road. So my appeal was presented to you today, and it looks like it was denied because I submitted it late to the city past the deadline. So I want to explain why I submitted it late and ask you to please reconsider. It's been my experience, as well as yours, I'm sure, that when a residential property owner files an appeal based purely on comparison to similar sales, the city then goes offline from the mass appraisal tool and does a manual analysis after selecting some comparison properties. And then they do some spreadsheet math to calculate an assessment. So one of the factors in that calculation is the New Hampshire equalization rate. It's very prominent in the spreadsheet math that they do. So for me to determine if my assessment, for anybody to determine if my assessment I got from Vision was correct, I had to have an approved or an accurate equalization rate from the state. So it makes no sense to me to guess at a ratio or to just use one or to use last year's rate. That wouldn't have made any sense. So my assessment from Vision could have been very accurate, but until I have that, see that New Hampshire equalization ratio, how am I gonna know? So unfortunately, as you know, the state didn't socialize an equalization ratio until late March. And that by itself was beyond the Nashua deadline. So as soon as that ratio became socialized, I quickly completed my evaluation and determined that, yes, I believe the vision assessment is incorrect. So I presented my appeal on May 6th. But I couldn't submit it before then without having the equalization ratio rate. So I ask you to please reconsider because of that.
I will take it under advisement, and you'll be notified within 30 days.
Okay, I have one more piece to add to that, sir. If for some reason you choose not to reconsider, if you think that my justification is not sufficient, I'd like to point out something else. On the Nashua City Assessment website, there's a bunch of FAQs. And there's one that says this following: what if I miss the deadline to file for an abatement? That's an FAQ on the Nashua website. So I'd like to read to you what the answer is to that. It says, if you miss the March 1st filing deadline with the City of Nashua, no action can be taken for the current tax year. However, you may request a spring review in which the assessing department may review your property value for the following tax year. So in this case, it'd be 2025. So again, if you don't believe that my justification for submitting late is sufficient, then I'd ask to be considered, please, for this spring review.
Okay, I'm not sure if that requires a separate request or letter, but we'll let you know one way or the other.
Hey, Bill, do you have copies of that website? I know we can probably pull it off, but I want to have yours, so.
I kind of have my notes on the back.
Okay, sure. I'll check it out. We're not changing the website anytime soon, right? We can go take a look at it.
Yeah, we're not going to go delete the link when we go downstairs.
Yeah.
No.
We don't have time for that.
I'm pretty sure that I sent the link to that site to the assessing office.
Okay.
So they can probably forward that to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good morning.
Hello.
My name is Brian Law. My residence is 78 Concord Street in Nashua, but I'm here about our corporate work, and that address, the headquarters is 59 Daniel Webster Highway in Merrimack. My name is Brian Law, and I'm the president of the Law Family Companies, which includes two of our family businesses, Law Realty Co. Inc. and State Street Inc. We own 15 properties in Nashua, which following the recent abatement had a combined 2022-2023 assessed value of about $38 million. I thank you for acceptance of our recent abatement case for those years. I'm speaking to you today regarding the mediation and settlement of abatement and the disconnect between that process and the establishment of current assessed values. As background, we've experienced over-assessed values for many years now, filing abatement applications for 2013, 2014, and 2015, where we reached settlements with the city, then filed a few years later when assessed values for tax year 2018 increased substantially over the agreed settlement amounts for 2015, and added 2019, 2020, and 2021 during the course of that appeal process, settling on assessed values for those years in November 2021. Unfortunately, less than a year later, the city's reevaluation determined these same properties had substantially increased in their assessed values as of April 1, 2022. So once again, applications for abatement were filed, denied by the city, which brought us to our recent mediation. And after again, paying to have a number of the company's properties reappraised by an independent appraiser, it was agreed at mediation here in 2025 some 3 years after we, and in many cases our 26 tenants, paid these taxes, that the assessed value of all the properties in the case would be reduced in valuation. So notably, as an example, for a lot of you may know the truck on the roof property at 27 Airport Road. The city's computer-assisted mass appraisal report determined the 2022-23 assessed value would spike again to over $7 million. So we hired an appraiser who valued the property back down to $3.6 million. The city's own independent appraiser concluded it had a value of $3.8 million. So settlement this time resulted in an agreed valuation of $3.7 million. So by the way, we had a major tenant that paid the bulk of those taxes in 2022 and 2023 that was struggling financially during that period. In fact, they are no longer a tenant, has outsourced the bulk of their operation to facilities in Pennsylvania, and because of their struggles, still happens to owe us about $250,000. The $120,000 in overtaxation over those 2 years was a real issue for that tenant, and is to businesses throughout the city. I'm calling this to your attention in this way today because the 2024 tax year brought a new revaluation, and coming out of that citywide revaluation generated by the computer-assisted mass appraisal, the new assessed value of 27 Airport Road was then identified as $8.4 million. That means the property that spiked to a value of $7 million by that program in 2022-23 was abated back down to $3.7 million less than a month ago, is now reassessed for $8.4 million. That equates to a $4.7 million or 117% increase over what we and the city just agreed is the value. Once again, a grossly overestimated assessed valuation. And in fact, the 10 properties for this past mediation, 10 of the 12, where the buildings remain the same, the computer-generated assessments overvalued these 10 properties by what we just agreed by over $10 million, over 44%. And I have a chart summary if you guys want it. So clearly, these properties are repeatedly overassessed as a result of the methodology of the computer-assisted mass appraisal. So to us, it makes no sense that the agreed upon facts and agreed upon assessed values can't be used in determining the appropriate current valuation as of April 1, 2025. And just as part of that whole process, we were told it just can't be factored. So I'm here today to ask that you review the results of the mediation and direct that they be applied in considering the establishment of the current values as of April 1, 2025.
I'm glad I abstained from any law family properties to vote for. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so you were just speaking to Bill the whole time.
Okay.
Brian, we'll take your request under advisement, and we'll be in touch within 30 days.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
If it helps, if there's legislative stuff that has to change, you know, if it's ordinances or state legislation that prevents this type of what seems to us to be sort of a reasonable process to factor in what was just agreed a month ago, I'm happy to be involved. I'm happy to involve the chamber or any other organizations if it helps in creating legislation that makes the job you all have to do easier. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Do you want what I have, the backup?
Yeah, that'd
just
be
so I
good.
know you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah. Because, what do we put this in the public record, or?
So these are the 10 of the 12. So 350 and 352 Amherst Street, I didn't include because we tore them down. Those buildings are all the same as they were in all those years.
So I have that here.
I know you all have this, but I don't know who wants copies.
No, thank you.
No? Anyone else want?
Got one.
If you give it to Jessica, please.
Thank you.
You good?
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Sir, are you looking to make public comment?
Hello, my name is Christian Jensen.
Can you
and
give your
I was
name and address, please?
13 Nancy Court,
And your address?
13 Nancy,
Oh, 13
Nancy,
Nancy, okay.
Court, 03062.
Jensen?
Yes, sir. Thank you for the E, and not an O. So I was informed that every first Thursday of the month, the cases will be taken up. So I was just wondering when my case will be taken up. I filed, I believe, everything that needed to be filed before April 15th. I understand there was one issue, that was my retirement fund, which some was under the impression that's income. And it's a retirement account which I have with T. Rowe Price, earned in 21-22 from my company. That amount was moved over to Citizens' retirement account. My tax account up in Manchester, Coralino, Robert Coralino, filed my taxes, have done that for the time period I've been here for 26 years. And he made the original and an extra copy of, because it's a rollover retirement fund. And that was presented to the assessor's office. The assessor's office wanted some additional information, so I had my tax accountant write a letter to me, which I have forwarded to the assessor's office. I also asked T. Rowe Price to give statement for the period my retirement fund was in there, which also I have forwarded. In addition, I have asked my investment manager at Citizens Bank to also provide information from the period. It's about 43,000 we are talking about in my retirement. Of course, I will do anything I can, because it's my benefit to deliver answers to the question you have. That's my benefit. So I've done all what I thought was needed and all I knew I could gather information from. But I haven't heard back yet, so I just wonder where we stand and what I can do, because, of course, I have an interest. It's a lot of money. It's about 50% of my income, because my Social Security is about $1,800.
Okay, we don't need personal.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, this is a public
It's the
session.
first time
I don't
I'm here,
want you
so-
to disclose anything,
Yes,
so.
sorry.
We're going to be taking it under advisement in the non-public session of the meeting
Yes.
shortly. So you won't be able to be here, but you'll have an answer shortly.
Okay, and let me know what I can do, because of course I'm interested. And also I want to learn how to do it and what to expect and so on.
Okay,
Would
Okay.
you do that for me?
yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Jensen.
Okay. Comments by members of the board? Charles, you have anything?
I have nothing to say.
I don't either. This time we'll go into non-public session. I move to go into non-public session for two reasons. First, to discuss matters which, if discussed in public, would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of this board, unless such person requests an open meeting. This exemption shall extend to include any application for assistance or tax abatement or waiver of a fee, fine, or other levy if based on inability to pay or poverty of the applicant pursuant to RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, Section C. Second, under 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, Section L, for the consideration of legal advice provided by legal counsel, either in writing or orally, to one or more members of the public body, even where legal counsel is not present. Can I get a?
So moved.
I'll second that. Charles Dobbins? Aye. Robert Early? Aye. We're in non-public at 9:41.